Welcome to the Forlorn Sanctum. So this will be the last episode in the Specter of Torment any percent tutorial, for the Skeletal Sentry route at least. You'll have to navigate through a tile block room similar to rooms in Legend of Zelda games. You'll have to go through some rooms with platforms that only appear as you approach them, and then you'll have two bosses, the Enchantress and Nightmare Reize. The tile block room is pretty easy to deal with once you know how to reach the top right corner of the room, and then the only thing I can really recommend for the following rooms is that you familiarize yourself with when and where you need to be jumping. There are some visual cues that I'll be giving out as to how you can jump to get further along as soon as possible, but for the most part it's something that you can only really get better at with practice, and after doing the stage hundreds of times, I've certainly gotten a knack for where all the platforms will be. Try not to take damage in the tile block room. The food is very out of the way, and the checkpoint is mildly out of the way, but very worth getting for beginners. Honestly, even intermediate players will still take that checkpoint because of how much damage the Enchantress deals. She almost killed me just now if I wasn't careful. Every one of her attacks, except for the floor fire, will cause a full heart of damage, which makes going in on 4 health even that much more insane. I split after the last pillar of smoke reaches the top of the screen, for those who are interested in splitting between bosses and stages. Fighting Nightmare Reize can be very unpredictable, mostly because of how the rails spawn. As you can see, they move up and down, and that's completely random. It's completely unpredictable. If you're lucky enough, you'll have a rail that spawns next to his face, and you'll be using Charge Slash to try and get as much DPS out on him as you can. You can use Judgment Rush to help close the gap and save your life in a pinch, but Skeletal Sentry won't offer you much of anything from here on out. Once you've done enough damage to him, you'll trigger his final pass, and it is possible to kill him on this pass, but the setup requires a lot of time and a lot of good luck. So let's go back to the beginning real quick and explain how exactly we're going to deal with the stage leading up to the bosses and then the bosses themselves. In the tile block room, for the first 4 sets of tiles, you can stand right in the middle and keep attacking them as they approach you. Left, right, right. After the 4th set comes in, you'll do a jump, and then you'll dash attack those tiles as they fly above you to get to the corner. It's incredibly easy to do, and you'll get used to it in no time. Just keep in mind that this corner is still not perfectly safe. You have to keep jumping to avoid the tiles as they approach you. As the platform beneath you begins to move, jump far away, and then do a dash attack up and to the right to exit the tile room. From here on out, you'll just be, again, adjusting to all of the jumps, know where they are. They're not terribly accurate, they really can't be, to be fair. You just have to know where they are and then take well-timed jumps. When the top of the stained glass is just about off the screen is when you can start jumping to get up onto the next platform. And these will all be a series of very short hops. Now if you were looking to get some food, there is food to the left. There's a small room with 2 red skulls and a bunch of money, but there's also a dinner plate there if you really need it, and I do not recommend going for it. Just don't take damage in the tile block room. Now about half a second after the 5th lantern appears in the background on the 2nd elevator is when you can jump to reach the final platform. Again, Enchantress is a very dangerous boss, and it may take you multiple attempts even if you're well versed in her fight. So consider grabbing that checkpoint. It doesn't take long to grab it all. When fighting the Enchantress, make sure that you have Charge Slash going and throw a Skeletal Sentry as soon as the fight begins. You will lose your charge every time you attack or use a relic, so just keep the button held and get into position. There's a small pillar in the background. I like to get to the right of it and then turn around. You only really should get hit about twice throughout the encounter, so damage boosting isn't that dangerous. Now you're keeping an eye on the first bullet, and shortly after the first bullet connects is when you'll release your Charge Slash. As soon as you release your Charge Slash, do a jump and dash attack, and this should force her into her next DM. This is the only other time that she could hit you that you can't really avoid, is when she'll go down to the bottom left. Her angle is also very random during these dives, and she could hit you as she passes by. If she doesn't, then you should have a charge attack ready and you can actually hit her as she's coming back up on this dive. If not, just save your Charge Slash for when she comes back down that final time. At this point, you want to get close to your Skeletal Sentry. You're going to beat the Enchantress over by it. She's going to stay underneath the platform, so you may have to hit your Skeletal Sentry closer to her. You're not going to need his shots anymore, so it doesn't matter if you turn it around. Just make sure that you push the Skeletal Sentry closer to her so that as she wanders back over towards you for her attacks, you can detonate it and she'll run into the explosion. You'll want to then try and throw another Skeletal Sentry out and do as much damage to her in this form as you can. The Enchantress doesn't take kindly to being hit while below the platform, so if you happen to do this too many times, as in about once or twice when she actually starts attacking you, she'll actually just immediately cut this phase down and come back up. It is entirely possible to avoid the damage I took there. If you jump while you're throwing your Skeletal Sentry, it shouldn't be a problem, but once she starts moving and she starts getting ready to dive back upwards, don't detonate any more skeletons, instead start building your charge slash up again. Again, you want to make sure that you get out of her way, don't let her hit you, and anytime a projectile hits her or you're attacking her, just as the same as the other bosses, you're temporarily invulnerable to their attacks, so you can use that to keep yourself alive. Now, killing the Enchantress before these dives finish is fairly difficult. You would have had to have gotten very lucky and gotten many extra hits on her. But if she does end up on the ceiling again, then you'll have to just switch to Judgment Rush, and this is typically how the fights will end for this route. Once she swings over to a corner, she's fairly close to that corner, start queuing up Judgment Rush so that you'll swing to her into the corner and get a charge slash ready. While you're flying, charge slash can still build up. After your attack lands, you should have a charge slash ready and raring to go. Just aim it back her way and get her before she can escape. Now say you messed up that first set of attacks, because that is common, and she gets away from you at the beginning of the fight. Similar to how we finished this fight, you'll have Judgment Rush ready, and when she gets to a corner, you'll use Judgment Rush and then a charge slash attack on the way back down. Now, although I don't recommend doing the fight like this, I do recommend at least understanding that Judgment Rush can target her beneath the platform as well. There is a fight that manages to do this and kill her, but as you can see, you will more than likely in some way or another end up dying. And here's the full Enchantress fight again at full speed. Throw Skeletal at the start, get behind the pillar, damage boost, release, attack. Try to hit her during her dives. Get in position beside your bro, get a couple detonates off, get some more charge slash attacks in if you can, and finish her off in the corner with a rush into charge attack. As for Nightmare Reize, the only thing that's really going to change what happens during the fight is typically going to be the way the rails spawn, and they'll, if anything, only hinder you briefly. At the start of the fight, wait for Reize's health to fill up, and then you can start mashing jump and Judgment Rush. Start building a charge slash, and as soon as you're in range, try to hit him. As you can see, I was kind of dicked over by that one rail, but once I caught back up to him, there was actually a rail by his face. Now, if you do more than 2.5 hearts of damage to Reize before the first pass, instead of finishing the first pass, he'll rear back, and that technically skips a phase, although you can do that entirely and push 2 phases together. This is more important for New Game Plus, where it's reliably consistent to do at least 2 phase skips. So for any percent, you should instead just focus on getting damage done on Reize as quickly as possible, instead of trying to stack it all into one single moment. His attacks all deal a full heart of damage, so you'll want to make sure that you avoid as many of them as you can. And once you've pushed him under 3 full health, he'll do his final pass. Hit him with a charge slash on the way out, and I have to say, it is technically possible to get some interesting double hits because of the way the rail mechanics work, but they're really precise and not worth attempting to go for. And this will be a different attempt on the Nightmare Reize fight. This is more typically how it goes, because the first attempt that I showed got a steady rail by his face, which doesn't always happen. So in this footage you'll be seeing me starting the same way, but instead I actually will manage to get my first charge slash hit on him. His first rear back will happen as soon as you do a heart and a half of damage to him, so he'll start flying backwards immediately. This means that as he passes by, full charge slash will not push him past 2.5, which would skip him into the next phase. However, because he isn't rearing back, you aren't going to get pushed back by the dramatic effect, so you should be able to get right to his face, do a charge slash, and a couple more attacks while on the rail. The game will then try to push you back to the left side of the screen. Once the pushback effect ends, you can use a Judgment Rush to get yourself much closer to Reize. Don't just wildly dash attack at him, try to make sure that that first charged dash attack actually deals a full heart of damage to him. It's a tough balance mixing in making charge slash actually useful and getting damage in on him as early as possible. and being able to take advantage of rail positions is incredibly difficult. That said, unless if you're going for incredibly optimal, super RNG dependent stuff on Nightmare Reize, the fight itself isn't too difficult and you should be able to finish. Like, beating the Enchantress should be the most difficult part of the second tower stage. So once again, Nightmare Reize at full speed. Have your Judgment Rush ready to go. Wait for his health to fill up, then jump and mash Judgment Rush. Build up your charge, get close to his face, try and attack him as early as you can, and get a single swing off to push his next phase. Get a charge slash as he passes by, get close to him, do some more DPS on him. Wait for the pushback to end, use the Judgment Rush, build up your charge slash again, get in position to hit him with that charge slash. After half health, he'll rear back one last time, and then from here on out you're just trying to push him down to less than 3 health. Another fully charged slash as he passes by, and then you'll have the final lanterns. After the last lantern dash, charge up a slash, get close, release, and attack. Thank you so much for watching the Skeletal Sentry route tutorial. Again, the last 3 bosses are the most difficult ones in the game for the route. They are the ones that you should be practicing the most. With that said, I'd like to throw out a special thanks to the many Spooky Boys and Spade Brigade members. The Shovel Knight community has put together a lot of effort in tackling this game from the moment it was released. So shoutouts to JC87, MC Peanuts, Tolu, Azulag, Munchakoopas, Explode Your Ear, Patois, Fortuity_Steelheart, Wes Beardtooth, Flatterv for the Shovel Knight Trainer Program, King Captain 27, Taiwan Ninja, Speedfrog, and last but not least, Sheen from Yacht Club Games and Yacht Club Games themselves for this really awesome game. Enjoy the ending credit sequence, and I hope that you all can reach this in a very quick and speedy time yourselves. Until the next guide series, stay spooky.